guys, welcome back to my channel. It's been a little while since I've done a homeschool video, but I am back with a homeschool Q&A video today. It's also in collaboration with Gabby.
Hey guys, I am Gabby, otherwise known as Mrs. Farrington here on YouTube. Over on my channel, I share not only our homeschool journey, but I also share the funny ins and outs of motherhood. So I hope you will hop over to my channel after you watch Amanda's video and stick around by subscribing.
She is so much fun to watch, you guys. I have been watching her channel for a few months now. She is hilarious. She keeps it really real. She has got a great sense of humor. She's getting really close to 1,000 subscribers, which she deserves. She has worked so hard on her channel, you guys, and she is so much fun to watch. Make sure you guys head over and check her out. So if you're new to my channel, my name is Amanda, and we have 4 little kids. They are right now almost 8, 5, almost 4, and 1 year old. And we've been homeschooling the entire time. They've never been in public school. They never even went to preschool. I've always kept them home. And we use the Abeka curriculum. So just to give you guys an idea of where I'm coming from when I'm answering these questions, we do Abeka, which is a very structured curriculum. It's a Christian curriculum, and it's been around for a long time. It's a full, you can pick and choose either doing individual textbooks and using them in your homeschooling world, or you can do their entire curriculum so that all you do is Abeka, and that is what we've chosen to do. All right, so I am just gonna be reading these in order of how they are on my phone. So the first question is, what are the requirements for homeschooling, and do you have to be certified? So it really depends on where you live. All of the states have different requirements, so you wanna check out your local state laws. And a really good place for that is HSLDA. I'm trying to remember what that stands for. Homeschool law, oh gosh, I'll leave it. Hold on, I'll find it. Homeschool Legal Defense Association. So they are a really, really good resource. I would encourage anybody that's a homeschool family, or if you're looking into homeschool, to definitely check out their website. It's hslda.org. I'll have it in the description box below. They have a lot of different resources for homeschool parents, all the way up until like when you need to be thinking about college and preparing your kids for that. And then all of the state requirements. Their website is set up really well. It's really easy to find all the information and navigate through there. But they have all of the different requirements for the states and how they break down, and what level of difficulty would it be. None of them are super difficult. I mean, pretty much all of them require that the parent has a high school diploma. You need to notify your school board. There has to be a record that they're doing their school from like 6 or 7 years old and on, things like that. I would definitely recommend HSLDA for pretty much anything homeschool related. They're a really good resource. Okay, next question. You mentioned for sure homeschooling in younger years, elementary, I'm assuming. Can you explain why younger years versus maybe outside education in the older grades? Do your kids like it, or do they ever complain when they're doing their work? And what do you like most and least about homeschooling? Okay, so homeschooling in the younger years versus potentially putting them in school when they're older, that is because I was homeschooled through 8th grade, and then I went to public school for high school. So I have had that experience, and it was actually really good for me being home when I was younger and then going to public school not until I was older, because I had that foundation under me from my younger years. I was really grounded in who I was, and my education was really strong in the basics, like the reading, the writing, and the arithmetic. I think that's really important to focus on when kids are little, because if those are set and they're strong in those areas, really everything else is just gonna build on it. As they get older, it was really good for me. I hated freshman year, but by senior year, I absolutely loved it. So I do think that it was a really good experience for me. It opened up my world a little bit more. I learned how to live on a schedule, more of a routine, because I really didn't have one when we were homeschooling. I wasn't used to being somewhere every single day, having to be there all day long, all the different dynamics that come with public school, the different groups that you're a part of. That was just all really beneficial for me. It taught me a lot as a person. I grew a lot as a person. So I am open to that as the kids get older, but I really do want to keep them home in the younger years just to make sure that their education is really rock solid. Do your kids like it, or do they ever complain when doing their work? This year, it's kind of started. Nora doesn't like spelling. It's kind of a challenge for her. She can do it, but she finds it boring, so she doesn't want to work on it. So Spelling is a challenge for her. And then Dane, he learns very, very quickly and absorbs everything very quickly. So it's hard to get him to slow down and, you know, let's review it, let's memorize it, let's make sure you actually understand everything. It's difficult to get him to do that. So he gets a little bit whiny every now and then because he just wants to get it done and get it over with. But otherwise, it's not too bad yet. I think it'll probably get a little more difficult as they get older and their subjects get more challenging. And let's see, what do you like most and least about homeschooling? Most would definitely be the closeness that you have as a family. We've always homeschooled, so our kids are really, really bonded to each other. And then to us as the parents, they're used to me staying home. They're very secure in who they are. They're very secure in us as a family. And I really like that. I started staying home when our second was born. So our oldest was 2.5. So as long as the kids can remember, I've been home with them. And it's really created that closeness and that bond. And the kids really are each other's best friends. And I really like that it's done that for us. The least favorite, it's probably just the lack of personal time that I get. And it's a little more elevated with us in our situation just because Nathan does travel for work and we don't live around family and we have moved quite a bit. So we don't have close friends that I can rely on. We definitely don't have family that I can rely on. And then right now in our situation, he is not here. So for me to get any away time, I have to get babysitters, but it's probably that. It's just difficult never having that time to myself. Do you plan on sticking with Rebecca for the long haul? Would you ever consider unschooling or completely freestyling the kids' schooling? So I don't think that I could ever do unschooling, just me, myself personally. I know that I would get way too anxious about are there gaps in their learning? Am I doing everything that I need to do? Is there something that I'm missing? And then just not having that structure and that organization, I personally thrive a lot better on that. I remember that as a kid, even when things were kind of just left to whatever, it would stress me out. And I tended to sort of like shut down and go into myself and just get really, really tense. So I know that for me as the parent, unschooling or like freestyle schooling, I think world schooling is another way that I've heard it put. It just wouldn't work for us because it would stress me out as the parent. Some people feel really trapped and really bogged down by a curriculum that is super structured like the Abeka. I find it really freeing. I think if it was left just up to me, I would probably be really overwhelmed and really stressed trying to pull different things from all over the place. And that's just a personality thing for me. As far as continuing with Rebecca, I know that I want to continue with it as long as we can. It does get more challenging, especially in the math as the grades continue, starting around like 4th or 5th grade, it starts to get pretty intense. And a lot of times I have heard people will switch to a different math curriculum because Rebecca moves very quickly. So it is possible if we do continue homeschooling into the middle school or even the high school grades that we may branch off and do other things. For now, I'm gonna stick with it. We will see when they get older. We might branch off or, you know, there is the possibility they may go to school, public or private, I'm not sure, when they get older. We're not absolutely set in stone that we're gonna homeschool forever. It's just what's been working best for us and it's what we've chosen for when they're young. How do you do it all and still look so good? That's my husband, who knows the truth. He has seen me on my Mamasaurus days, so thanks, babe. Is homeschooling different than you thought it would be going into it? Not really, just because I was homeschooled. I know the ins and outs of what it means family dynamic wise to be in the homeschool world. It is of course different being the parent versus being the child. I would say the only things that I'm like, wow, geez, about would be what you feel as the mom, all of the weight on you as far as not getting pulled into feeling guilty or feeling overwhelmed or feeling the worry and the anxiety of, am I doing enough? Is this the right thing? Am I going about this the right way? Combining motherhood with being the educator, yeah, it's very challenging. I would say it's not necessarily harder for me than I thought it was going to be. It's just a different kind of hard being the parent versus being the child. What made you decide to homeschool? And what is one piece of advice you would give someone starting out or still debating homeschooling? So what made us decide to homeschool? I am a person that I want to be in control of how my kids are educated. I do want to be able to decide what they learn and when they learn it. And that goes with everything academics, but also in the social world. What are they introduced to and when are they introduced to it and how is it presented to them? I want to be the one to decide, as you know, much as you can, when that happens and the way that it happens. And you lose a lot of that control when you send kids to school, which I was never comfortable with, because that was a huge benefit that I saw in my schooling, was that didn't happen to me. I didn't have those experiences of having things introduced to me and I wasn't ready to deal with it or handle it, or, you know, I didn't quite understand it. So I'm very grateful to my parents for that. And then just with their education, I want to be involved in my kids' education so I know where they're at with everything. How well are they doing with things? Is there an area that we need to work in? Are they falling behind in an area? Is it just a learning style issue? Whatever it might be, I really want to be involved in that. So being more involved in their education, but also protecting them until they're old enough to deal with the world, because I absolutely saw that as a benefit to me staying home. I think that it's really important that these kids are sheltered, if you want to call it that. I mean, I don't think that's a bad word. People think that's a bad word. I don't see it as a bad word. I think that little kids do need to be protected and sheltered for as long as they can be. So we knew early on that if I could stay home with them and if it were a possibility, that we did want to homeschool. And those were the two reasons. So what is one piece of advice you would give someone starting out or still debating homeschooling? Oh, that's a tough one. I don't know. Let me think. Probably just that you're going to feel every single kind of emotion. You're gonna feel that pride with, I've watched my child learn something, they understand it, look at how quickly they picked it up, you know, I taught that to them. And there's that pride and that accomplishment that comes between you and your child. You're gonna feel stuff like that, but you're also gonna feel the really low lows of the doubt, the guilt. Am I doing enough? Are there gaps in their learning? Why are they not picking this up? Is it something that I'm doing? Is you might have dynamics against a parent and a child with, it's just really hard to be both their parent and their educator, and you butt heads. So feeling all of those feelings and those emotions, I mean, they're gonna happen, and it's totally normal and it's totally okay. And I would say just not to get scared by the negative ones. Don't let them dictate the path that you're on. It doesn't mean that homeschooling is not a good fit for you or your child, but just not to let those fears dictate your homeschool journey. How long is your typical school day with the Abeka online curriculum? Like you, I also have interruptions with little siblings. Yeah, the interruptions are a thing for sure. So specifically with the online, like using the video lessons when it comes to Abeka, it does depend on the grade level. Dane is in kindergarten. I would say, let's see, his is probably start to finish about 3 hours, and that would include giving him a lunch break. It's usually about 15 or 20 minutes, and then he has a lot of little breaks in between his videos. He's very active and he likes to stay busy and stay moving, so to keep him from getting bored and just not paying attention, I do give him quite a few breaks. But with all of those breaks, I would say start to finish, it's about 3 hours. Nora being second grade, she has more videos that he does. They have different avenues. She has like arithmetic, but then they also have combination practice where they just recite the different combinations and they do drills and games to remember them. She has phonics and language, but then also spelling videos. So they tend to break off and become a little more specific in certain areas, and that creates more videos. It kind of depends on how the day is going and how quickly we need to be moving through it. But a typical day is probably 3 hours for Dane and 5 or so hours for Nora, and that would include their lunches and giving them some breaks in between every couple of videos probably. So what do you do when you have a day where you are the one not very motivated to get school going? Yeah, those happen, that's for sure. If it's a day when I don't feel very good, maybe I'm tired or I just don't feel very well, or maybe I'm just in a bad mood, I woke up and I'm just cranky. First of all, I try to be really upfront with the kids and honest with them. And the kids really actually like that. I think that they sort of feel a little more of a bond. There's more of a team sort of spirit that comes out of that. So that helps for sure. Just being really upfront and honest with the kids about, you know, I'm sorry, I'm doing my best, and I'm gonna try not to let, I try not to let it affect the kids, but just being really open with them about, it's just a tough day, I'm just having a rough day, everybody has them. And I think the kids really appreciate that honesty. But as far as actually getting stuff done, some days we will skip certain subjects if it's a subject that they're not needing the extra work in. We'll do that sometimes anyway. But when it's a day when it just needs to get done, I try my best to just get it done. And it doesn't matter my mood or my energy level. Sometimes we can let it go and let it slide, but other days it just has to happen. And you just have to suck it up, buttercup, and do it. I just try to be as militant about it with myself as I can be. and we just get it done. So the last question is, do you ever get together with other homeschool families in your area to go on field trips or have play dates? So in the past, we have off and on. We haven't ever been a part of, say, a homeschool co-op. It is something that I'm interested in when the kids get a little bit older, but it's just really hard when you have young kids and you're still dealing with naps and you're still dealing with, you know, babies and toddlers that can't be involved in the schooling. There are age restrictions. Usually they need to be like first grade or older. Some of them are third grade or older, things like that, where we've never been old enough anyway. Nora is just in second grade now. So what we've done in the past with her, as far as getting her out and doing things, is she's been involved in dance and gymnastics, soccer, softball. She's gone to church VBS camps. And now that Dane's getting a little bit older, he's also been involved in stuff like that. He did T-ball last year, and then VBS. I think he's done VBS a couple of years. So we do stuff like that. We've been doing stuff like that, but homeschool related stuff like co-ops specifically, or specific homeschool field trips, not so much, but it is something that we are wanting to be a part of in the future. All right, you guys, so that is all of the questions that you guys sent in. Thank you very much, those of you that sent in the questions. I love doing videos like this. I love, you know, opening up to you guys and sharing our life with you. And if you guys have any videos like this, let me know. I'd love to watch them. I really enjoy watching videos like this. It's just fun hearing the different perspective on things and getting to know people better and their schooling better and their family dynamics better. It's really, really fun. So let me know in the comments if you guys have any videos like this. Make sure you check out Gabby's channel. I know you guys are going to enjoy her a whole lot. She is a ton of fun and she is so real. I am always smiling and giggling whenever I'm watching her videos. So make sure you check her out. You'll have a lot of fun with her, and I will see you guys with my next video.